This episode is brought to you by Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to sign up using the link in the description will get their first 2 months free. In the 1920s, Joseph Stalin sent researchers to Africa as part of a secret program to create a hybrid race of man-apes. Meant to be physically superior soldiers, these man-apes would have been a formidable force that featured, hopefully, the intelligence of a man with the strength and speed of a gorilla or chimpanzee. Yet, ultimately, despite dozens of attempts to impregnate women with chimpanzee sperm and apes with human sperm, the program ended in complete failure, with not a single viable pregnancy. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Infographics Show. Today we're taking a look at why humans can't breed with other animals. Reproductive isolation is the evolutionary mechanisms, behaviors, and physiological processes by which a species is unable to mate outside of its own species, and is critical for speciation, or the process by which populations become distinct species. Scientists have identified a host of factors that make it impossible for us to interbreed with animals, and separated them into two groups. Prezygotic reproductive isolating mechanisms are all the things that make it physically impossible to attempt to breed in the first place. Geographic isolation is one of these mechanisms. After too long apart, one species has physically changed so much that it simply does not find another species sexually attractive, and there's no inclination for either to attempt to mate. Other mechanisms include physical attributes such as incompatible genitalia, psychological factors such as prey-predator relationship, and sperm motility. One species' sperm, for example, may not be capable of navigating the reproductive tract of another. Post-zygotic reproductive isolating mechanisms are those factors that make it impossible for a hybrid fetus to grow into a reproductive adult. So even if two animals of completely different species manage to mate, they could still produce no viable offspring. The further apart two animals are genetically, the less likely they are to be able to successfully mate. And for humans specifically, we've simply been too far removed from our ape cousins for our genetics to match up anymore. With humans diverging from apes as late as 7 million years ago, there's simply not enough common ground anymore for a viable offspring. While there are several factors and scientists still fully don't understand all of them, the biggest factor is simply DNA. Human and animal DNA simply doesn't match up to produce anything useful. As our body's operating system, DNA tells every cell in our body what to become and how to become it. One cell might become muscle tissue, while another becomes a red blood cell. Basically, DNA is our own internal instruction manual, and the things have to line up very precisely in order for DNA to do its job properly. When we attempt to mix human and animal DNA, however, the instructions simply don't match. Imagine you have one set of instructions for building a boat and another for building a skyscraper. Mixing them up together results in one document that makes no sense and is no good for building either a boat or a skyscraper, and least of all, a floating skyscraper. Yet recent evidence in our DNA shows that humans have interbred with other species such as Neanderthals, who make up a few percentage points of everyone's DNA, including your own. So why Neanderthals and not Stalin's gorillas and chimpanzees? Well, first, we have those prezygotic reproductive isolating mechanisms, which in this case are not working as they would. Humans and Neanderthals looked very physically similar, so some attraction was inevitable. We also shared a very similar psychology. Both lived in family groups and had the same customs and traditions such as burial of the dead. We were close enough culturally to consider each other viable mates. Our physical bodies also aligned properly, being a near mirror copy of each other. Upon successful mating, those post-zygotic reproductive isolating mechanisms also failed to come into effect. Our reproductive tracts were nearly identical, so human sperm could easily navigate the reproductive system of a Neanderthal female, or vice versa. Our DNA was also so closely similar that the instructions made sense and resulted in viable offspring. 9 months later, a happy and healthy human/Neanderthal hybrid would be born. But with humans flourishing while Neanderthals were slowly going extinct, it would be humanity who rose to prominence, with just a splash of our late cousins in each and every one of us. Had Stalin's plans succeeded, he may have indeed created an unstoppable army of human-ape hybrids. So ultimately, let's be thankful for DNA keeping us human. Stalin may not have been able to make a race of 8-man super soldiers, but if he had had access to one of Skillshare's many classes on physical fitness and wellness, he wouldn't have needed them. With classes to help you transform from flab to fab to anti-aging treatments and remedies, Skillshare and its 20,000 online courses have you covered today. Premium membership will give you unlimited access to topics that will improve your skills and in the process, your life. The first 1,000 people to sign up by visiting Skillshare.com/infographics34 or by clicking the link in the description will receive 2 months of Skillshare absolutely free. Join Skillshare and start learning today. But what if humans and animals could mate? What kind of people would exist in the world today? What animal attributes would you love to have? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video called Illegal Things That You Do Every Day. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.